Hello and welcome everyone. This is your astrology forecast for new moon in Leo. And this new moon in Leo is very different from previous lunations. And it's really reminding us to live in the now and to live now, not to wait for something, not to delay life, not to wait to be fixed, not to wait for anything actually, but to really do it now, because we don't have to wait for things to be perfect in order to do them. And this new moon gives us really a powerful courage. And it's a reminder that we have probably forgotten how to live and how to be spontaneous. And this is Leo energy, it's new moon. So whenever we have new moon, it's time when the sun and the moon are together. And they come together in a sacred marriage, in a holy union. And the sun is the ruler of this lunation. And the sun and the moon are two eyes, our two powerful guides, our two eyes, two universal eyes, and our cosmical parents, actually, the Sol and La Luna. And they are very powerfully alchemizing our whole organism. And it's really something that shows us how life can be lived differently. And whenever we have the sun and the moon together, it's time when something new is being birthed. So we are initiating something, we are planting seeds for something, and with this new moon in Leo, we have the courage to do it. And it's happening at the second degree of Leo, so it's the very beginning of the sign. So it's again something brand new. It's something that is really pushing us forward. Even though Mercury is retrograde, this is very powerful time for achieving something that we've always wanted before, something that we've been dreaming of. And there are no obstacles now. The only obstacle is our mind. The only obstacle are our beliefs. Only obstacle is our own saboteur. And it's a reminder that we have forgotten to smile without a reason and to laugh without a reason. This new moon in Leo is really a powerful time for understanding that pure joy is a natural state of being a human being. It's really our natural state, and it's our birthright to experience full joy. And you know, this is something that shows us that there is no manual for experiencing joy. It's something that happens spontaneously. It's something that comes naturally. And it's something that happens when we finally give ourselves some break from always achieving, always attaining, always escaping, always chasing something, always waiting for something to be done, and then we can give ourselves some credit for something. You know, when I finish this job, when I finish this project, when I finish this work, when I do this, when I finish this obligation, I deserve it. But the truth is, we don't have to deserve anything. We are here to experience this joy and to realize that many things that we worry about are actually fictional and illusionary. And you know, our ego persona, our mask, our role that we accepted to live is what worries. But our true selves, our essence, has no worries at all. And Leo and the fifth house are deeply related to children and to that state of being not naive, but really spontaneous. And you know, everything else then comes as a logical and natural consequence. You know, the resources, the material stability, emotional stability, all of this is not something that we have to build and work hard for. It's something that comes naturally when we truly can be joyful. And it's not really what we are doing, but why we are doing something. You know, the intention behind what we are doing is what matters, not really what we are doing, but how we are doing it and why we are doing it. And you know, it's usually those things that when we are doing them, we lose the track of time. Because, you know, when something is so enjoyable, the time passes by so quickly. And this new moon is really putting us there. It's putting us in that place, in that state of being, where we can really align with the energy of the sun and new birth between the sun and the moon. And the sun and the moon are, you know, the cosmical mother and father. And when they come together, they give birth to something. So we are giving birth to joy. We are really giving birth to pure joy. And, you know, we really forgot that we have the right to live, regardless of our achievements, regardless of our work, regardless of expectations from others. You know, we have the right to live and to feel the joy. And, you know, not after we fix everything, but now, in this exact moment. And this is the purest Leo's energy. And it's, you know, time that we understand that it's, you know, we are talking so much about healing all the time. And then we can get lost in this, because this is another trap sometimes, because we are constantly healing, like there is always something to fix, which immediately means that there's something wrong with us. You know, like there's something wrong with me, so I have to heal myself. And that means that something is not right. So it's time to really shift that perspective and to act and react from the place of where I am pure joy. I am the expression of pure joy. And the ruler of this new moon is the sun. And this sun is also within us. We have our inner sun. And when the sun shines, the rays of the sun reaches everything and everyone, regardless of what they are doing or what kind of person he or she is, or you know, if that place is beautiful or not. The rays of the sun reach everyone and everything, and the sun doesn't ask for anything in return. And we are being inspired to be more like the sun, and to just get out of that loop where we are constantly pushing ourselves to do better, to be better, to do it quicker, stronger, you know, to compete. Because we may have a tendency to compete and to prove ourselves, because Leo also has that side. You know, me first, look at me, look what I've done, look what I've achieved, all eyes on me. But the other side of Leo is also this pure joy that doesn't care who looks at him, who approves him or her or whatever. It's just that state of being where I can be playful, I can be spontaneous. And just by being that, I achieve everything already. Everything is already there. And I cannot lose anything because I don't own anything, but everything also belongs to me at the same time. And it's all here around me. This moment right here is all that matters. And it's all that I am, and it's everything. And when I'm not focused on things that I don't have, that's when I have everything. So this is an invitation to change our perspective, to change the focus, to shift this state of being from where we, you know, think that we are in lack of something, to move towards knowing that this whole existence is actually very abundant, and it's very resourceful, and we have all that we need all the time. We have all the elements, you know, water, earth, air, and fire, everything that we need in order to live this life as if we are truly living in a paradise. And, you know, it's really asking us to stop thinking that we have to do just one more thing, you know, just this one more thing, just one more layer, one more thing to solve this, then I'll be free. You know, just one more layer of healing, you know, or when I finish this, then I'll be able to do this. But, you know, it's really about letting ourselves live, allowing ourselves to live, not being so anxious about knowing everything or gaining more of anything that we want. It's not about manifesting either, it's about creating. Leo in the 5th house, it's a lot about creativity. And what happened with our creativity? You know, when we are in the state of being where we are playful and spontaneous, we are so creative and it comes so easily. We don't have to go somewhere, we don't have to isolate ourselves, we don't have to be in beautiful places to get inspired, because this inspiration comes from within. And whatever we recognize outside of ourselves as inspirational and beautiful, it's a reflection of ourselves. So it's an illusion that somewhere there is much better. Somewhere there, you know, the grass is greener on the other side. It's an illusion because we have it within ourselves, and it's our choice. It's our choice to be joyful. It's our choice to be happy. It's our choice. But this is, when I said happy, this reminded me, this goes beyond being sad or happy, you know, because happiness and sadness, it's a thin line. And we are now, this Leo is really taking us on the other side. And the sun shines from within, so we can shine our light. And the rays, we can feel the rays of the sun expanding from within. And, you know, this is an invitation to really stop thinking that we have to deserve to laugh, that we have to deserve to go to some beautiful place, or that we have to deserve to do something spontaneous and not feel guilty about it. So, you know, we don't have to have it all figured out. And we don't have to be done and don't have to wait for some perfect timing. And, you know, this new moon in Leo is really about living now. And it takes courage to do this, but this courage is fulfilling. And it's not about escapism, it's really about courage. And the more we choose to live now, the more capacity we have for everything else. And this is when everything that we are craving for comes naturally to ourselves without any effort. So it's really something that happens effortlessly. So we create effortlessly when we let ourselves live and not pushing ourselves all the time. And you know, we are really pushing ourselves so hard, and we get trapped in these healing processes, in fixing ourselves, in correcting things in our life, in solving problems, in finding creative solutions. But we are continuously just getting lost, and there is always more to do. No matter how many things we remove from our to-do list, there is going to be more and more. And when are we going to live? Are we living or are we surviving? That's also a big question. And this new moon is telling us to smile, not because there's a reason for it, not because we've done our work, not because everything's perfect, but because we are alive. And that's really a miracle. And this new moon is really about showing us that we are miracles. You know, we are miracles already. This life is a miracle. Everything around us, we have an opportunity now, a really powerful support from these energies and these electromagnetic forces that are very strong now, very electrified, powerfully transforming and awakening those dormant potentials that are within us, that hide the spark, and reminding us that no matter what's going on or what we are worried about, it's about really getting us in the present moment of where we are now. You know, I can just look anywhere or look within myself and feel the power of creation and discover the divine intelligence behind everything. And this new moon is also telling us and showing us that we are here to do it ourselves, but also to do it with others and for others, but do it ourselves. There is something that I can do that is coming from my authentic self, and it's not coming from something that I watched or from something that I want to copy. I cannot follow anyone's path. I cannot achieve success if I follow the path of someone who already achieved success, because everyone has their own unique path, and we are all like rays of the sun. The sun can be seen as oneness, but the rays of the sun are many, and each ray of the sun has its own path, and so do we. And we come from that oneness, and we are expressions of that oneness, expression of the heart of the sun. And those rays, we have the capacity to be those little suns, and we can be the sun in somebody's life now. We can shine our light in somebody's life and make a big change. And you know, when Leo part in us comes onto the scene, you know, everyone looks at that part. So this is like we are the star of the show, and we are reminded that we are stars of the show now. And nobody else can be the star of our show. We cannot give somebody else this power to show us, to teach us how to be happy, how to feel joy. You know, nobody can do this for us. We have to do it for ourselves. And as I said, this trap where we think that we have to heal ourselves first and then we can live a life, or we have to heal ourselves first and become whole, and then the perfect partner will come into our life, then everyone around us will be in perfect harmony, in perfect harmonious relationships with us. But this is another trap, and sometimes what we think is saving us is also a trap. And you know, we think that something's wrong with us. As I said, immediately this sends the message to our body and to our mind and to our heart that something is wrong. So I have to work on it. And as long as we are working on it, we are running away from ourselves. But this new moon is really telling us that we can do what we thought is impossible. And there is no space for saying that anything is impossible now. But of course, we have to know that some things, of course, we cannot do. Like there are laws of this realm. Like I cannot physically fly. You know, maybe I think I can, but I cannot do it. So we have to know some healthy limitations to be aware of them. But the rest of it really is limitless. We have limitless possibilities. And we get so much pressure from nowadays life coaches and astrologers, of course. Astrologers are modern life coaches too, psychologists, holistic healers, and everyone, to heal our mind, to have healthy mind and body, healthy mind, soul, and body. And constantly we are feeling the pressure to get healthy, to be better, to do better. But actually, this comes naturally when we just allow ourselves to live and to be more spontaneous. And we think the answer is in eating healthy, or we think the answer is is in taking great care of our bodies, constantly working out, constantly having a quality time. Like there is a pressure to spend quality time with our family, to have it all beautiful and perfect, but this is really making us anxious. Our need for perfectionism is really making us anxious. And when we are in the state of pure joy, there is no space for anxiety. There is no space for any of these states of being. And all these things are just another form of running. And, working on ourselves to fix ourselves. That's in the beginning, the concept is a bit tricky. And, we are still telling ourselves that there is something that is not right. We are still trapped into the same thing, we just changed the clothes. And so we are definitely now faced with it, and we can laugh about it. This new moon, the fifth house, Leo, the sun, is really about seeing the funny side of everything that we are worrying about. And if everything fails that we are doing, we can still laugh about it, because it didn't turn out as we wanted it to. But it's not about, getting things as we want them to become. It's about really allowing ourselves to experience the game of life, because it's a game, it's a play, it's a show, and we are actors. And as I always say, we forget that we are actors, and we get in the role, and we forget our true selves, and we identify with that role, we identify with the actor's role, and then there is so much to worry about, so much fixing to be done. But when we step out of that role and we see that, okay, it's a game and I can step into some other role, I can suddenly just change the role and play differently and see what happens. It's a challenge, but it's not a big deal. It's just a change of the role, it's a change of scenery, and we can enjoy in every moment. And through this journey, we are definitely experiencing a lot of crises and traps and illusions, but we need these experiences, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to know, to discern what is what. And it's very easy to get lost in any method, in technique, in meditation, in I always say, let's not become fanatics about it. But what I see around me, and even in myself often, is that we go into extremes, and we want to achieve it all, to do it all, to make it all work, to finish all on time, and then I deserve it. Then I can do something and give myself some credit. But let's give ourselves credit right now, just for being alive. Just for being alive. And I know this can sound crazy, but this is actually our greatest achievement, to be alive. But the question is, are we alive? Are we aware of our aliveness? What makes us feel alive? What makes my heart sing? What opens up my heart chakra? When do I feel this way? Did I feel this way when I was a child? And can I recognize this energy through observing children playing, when they get lost, when they lose the track of time? And when they say just 5 more minutes, but it goes like this, or 1 hour goes like this, and they can never get enough of playing. So this is really something that gives us that perspective and that state of being where we can play and get lost in the track of time, because we are timeless. We are truly timeless. And it doesn't, it doesn't demand any struggle, actually. And as I always say, everything is purposeful. But we don't have to stay in one state of being for too long. But what we do stay in one state of being for too long. And we always think that when we are in a certain state of being, that it's going to last forever. But it's really insane to have that kind of belief, because we are changing all the time. The moon is changing all the time. And this is how we can also understand how we are changing all the time. And, you know, the tides are changing. You know, we are shifting between different moods very quickly. And if we are able to observe these shifts, then we can also laugh about them. You know, we can laugh at our different mood swings, because we see it's a little bit crazy, you know. But this Leo's energy is about being a little bit crazy, and it's really something that gives us an opportunity to move forward, not because we have to, not because we are damaged and we have to fix ourselves, but because we are really alive. And just by being alive, it's all that it takes. And, you know, it's about affirmation and acceptance that, you know, I am where I am, and I accept where I am, and I accept what I'm experiencing right now. And this version of me right now is priceless, it's unique, it's precious, and I may not experience it anymore, ever. But this version now, no matter what I personally think about it, is unique. And I am here to feel it fully and to feel alive through that version of me. You know, we have an opportunity to feel alive through every version of ourselves. But there is not one version of ourselves that is the real version of ourselves. There is no real version of me, because we have many different expressions, just as those rays of the sun. But the sun, the essence, is the one. So we have our essence, and this is the observer. This is the conscious witness within ourselves, the witness who can see all those versions, who can accept all those versions, and still enjoy, and still have fun, and still laugh about it. And it's really special energy. And this new moon is making an opposition with Pluto in Aquarius. And these are early degrees of fixed signs. And we are pushed into change. And we may be afraid of change. Fixed signs don't really love change so much, and they can, you know, hold on to this current version, because if I change something, everything is going to fall apart. But nothing is going to fall apart, actually. You know, every destruction is also a creation. There is no creation without destruction. And we know this from many different experiences and metaphors and parables. You know, the egg that cracks from the inside gives birth. So we are experiencing this kind of movie right now. And this is time of celebration and revelation. And it's time for relocating ourselves from the head into the heart of the Leo, the heart of the sun, as I always say when I talk about Leo's energies in the sun. And this opposition with Pluto is about destroying something that is destroying ourselves. And this can be a belief that if we change, we are going to lose something, that if we change, something is going to fall apart, that if I make this decision, somebody is going to get mad. Or, you know, this is push and pull energy. The opposition is push and pull energy, and we may feel torn apart between two decisions, for example, and we are making it, but this is about finding balance it's really about finding balance and understanding that life is alive when we are, in that state of being between two extremes, when we are not either into one or the other extreme, but we are, always constantly in this moment where we are, shaking between two extremes. And when we can see both extremes without thinking that we are this or that extreme, and there is an opportunity to transform our emotions and emotional reactions. And as I said, do it yourself, but do it for others. This is something that I do. It's my creativity, it's my passion project, it's my authentic self. But through doing this, I inspire others and I transform the network around me. And this is Pluto in Aquarius, the power of the group, the power of the people, the power of the network. And Leo is subjective. It's what comes from me. And this is also can be related to the sun, because the sun, the center, the essence, is that core place of the self. This is what is authentically me. It's original. I am not copying anyone. I am not imitating anyone. It's authentic self. And then from that authenticity, those rays of the sun come out. And this is Aquarius. This is the polarity of Leo and Aquarius. And, we can now see what is blocking us, what is preventing us from living freely. And we are asked, what is aligned with my soul? We are meeting our unmet needs, and it's time to dare to love ourselves despite all fears, to love all versions of myself, no matter what I think about them or where they take me. It's time to experience life through all those versions. And if I'm doing what only I can do, then there is no competition. And I love to say this and to repeat this over and over through many videos, because it's really important to know this. There is no competition when I do what only I can do, when I'm not trying to copy anyone, to imitate anyone, to follow somebody else's path, but I create my own path. And during the time of this new moon, it's time to break our habits, to break our routines, to break those things that we do mechanically every day. We walk the same path, we take the same route, and we expect different things to happen to us, which is impossible. It's time to change the path, to completely transform it, to suddenly turn left or right, to suddenly, choose to get off the path and maybe get lost. It doesn't matter, we can get lost. And this version of our experience of life is also full of experiences and adventures. So it doesn't matter, we can get lost, we can go walk the right path, we can walk the wrong path. It doesn't matter. What matters is how present we are in it, how we interpret that experience, and what is the intention behind it. And are we truly able to observe it, to feel it, and to live it? And Leo is individual, while Pluto is the collective. And Leo is the member of the community, while Aquarius is the community. Leo is the solo player, the soloist, while the Aquarius is the whole orchestra. And we are each the star performer of our own lives. And it's time to open our heart, to truly open our heart without being afraid of being hurt. Because what can be hurt? Our true self, our essence, the sun, cannot be hurt. Only our role can be hurt. Only our how do I say this? My identification with that version of me can get hurt. Only my ego perspective can get hurt, but not the one who observes and who sees, not the true self. It can never be hurt, really. And it's time to express the light of our soul and to live from our core truth. There is, it's time for having capacity to love and the will to follow our own path and to be free agents of life, not to follow others. We don't need somebody else's authority to show us the path. Of course, someone can inspire us. Somebody's story can inspire us to find our own, but not to follow their path, And big problem is that we are not connecting. We are somehow always disconnecting because we want to show that we are different from others. And this is Leo Aquarius, both. It can be, there can be a complex and a need to be special. A need to be special. But we are already special, just as we are. We are already special. And we are about to see the toxic pattern of this need to be special, to be different from others, to be above others, or to have that complexity where we think that we are below others and we have to prove ourselves. This is what puts us into that state of being where we are feeling victimized, where we have a need to present our power. And with Pluto in opposition with this new moon, of course, power struggles are possible. But again, this Pluto is about to destroy these complexes and these layers that program us and that put us into those cages and traps of our mind. Our heart tells us what we truly want, but our mind can play a lot of tricks on us. And it's time to relocate that into the heart. This is where our true mind is, the mind. And many of us will see how closed our hearts are and how stiff we are by, being emotionally numb, not allowing ourselves to feel certain things, we are playing someone who is, stoic. We can take it all. I don't feel I am invincible. Of course, this is a great perspective, but if it doesn't come from that egoic perspective of being invincible, where we put ourselves disconnected from others, like this is me, and the rest is there, but this is me, and I'm different than you. And of course, there are also many dangerous quotes on the internet, dangerous quotes that are dangerous for many individuals who are searching for approval for their state of being, for their behavior, for whatever it is that they are going through. And then they get caught into that quote, into that thought, and they get approval for what they are going through. They justify their state of being, and they again get lost. So it's really time to get out of that, and as I said, to allow ourselves to live fully, to experience life fully. And this new moon is also making a positive sextile with Uranus in Gemini. And this is really something that we should be excited about, because it's completely changing our nervous system, our way of communicating, our way of sharing our ideas, our stories, our plans, and everything that we have on our mind. Our brains get electrified now. And this is time for something that happens suddenly. It's Uranus. It's shaking up our core beliefs. It's shaking up our state of being. It's shaking up everything we thought is true. And it's going to bring us some positive surprises, really positive surprises. And we may act in a surprisingly positive way, and we may surprise ourselves, by what we can do. Like, wow, I didn't know I'm capable of doing this. or, oh, I didn't know I'm able to do this, I'm able to think like this, I'm able to experience life in this way. I forgot how to live. I forgot that life is full of miracles. You know, when we stay stuck and get lost in the news, in media, in scrolling, endlessly scrolling, you know, where we forget how to eat mindfully, because, you know, we are eating while watching, I don't know, listening podcasts or watching TV shows or whatever we are doing, we are continuously scrolling. And what do we do then? We are never present. We are never present. We just get loads of information, and most of them we don't need at all. And we stuff down our essence, and the sun gets blinded. The rays cannot be expressed. So it's time to really stop scrolling, literally and metaphorically as well. And to observe life as a miracle, as it is. You know, there is a great illustration that I saw a couple of days ago, and it showed a man who is reading newspapers that are full of terrifying titles, as we know. And in that moment, while he's reading those terrible titles, a bird comes to him, and he looks at the bird and then looks again in the paper, but the bird is not leaving. It's still there, and it's getting closer and closer. So he puts down the paper and he starts looking at the bird, and he throws the newspaper away, and he gets in the connection. He establishes the connection with the bird. And this is much more important than reading the newspaper or knowing what's happening in the world, because that moment is the real moment. That moment is a live moment. That is when our inner sun is turned on. That's when it can shine through and establish the connection, the true connection. And this is what the network is about. It's about establishing the connection, not disconnection. Not like this is me and the rest of you are getting worried about what is happening in the world. We cannot make any progress, or we cannot give any support by worrying. We can only support if we are in the state of pure joy. This is when magic happens, truly. And we are now asked to give, to offer that state of being to others. And I often shared before that, you know, when someone next to us is going through something heavy, it's not about us putting ourselves into that state of being where we are also suffering with this person, but it's our task then to be in the state of joy next to this person. And this is how we can level up and uplift others. It's not about forcing someone, you know, to be in the state of joy. It's honoring their state of being, but we don't have to put ourselves there, because, you know, we are not doing any good. But we may think, like we have been taught, that we have to be in the same state of being because this is how we show compassion. No, true compassion, real love for someone is when we are able to be strong, to be courageous, to be in the state of pure joy next to someone who is going through something hard. And this doesn't mean laughing to the sufferings of that person, of course, but it means, you know, standing in my own place and shining that light brightly, just like the sun. The sun won't disappear if we are sad. It will still continue on shining. And that's what is a true reminder for us now. A real reminder to do the same, to recenter ourselves, to come back to the center of who we are. And, you know, to see what makes us shine our brightest. And this new moon is teaching us to love ourselves fiercely. And to focus on the heart's truth. Of course, separation and aloneness can haunt the psyche, and this is about being able to observe that moment, to see it, and to get back to the center and to shine, to feel ourselves like the ray of the greater sun, not this physical sun, but the sun as the oneness from where we come out as those rays of the sun. And then to do the same on the micro level, like now I am that sun, I am that oneness, and I can send those sparks outside from myself, and instead of sending arrows of worry, of stress, of anxiety and fear, we can send those small rays that are filled with love and care and joy. And this is all about enhancing the common good and building a heart-centered reality, building a heart-centered community, and seeing what shuts down our hearts and stepping away from what's shutting down our hearts. It's time to see, are we taking ourselves for granted? Because most of the times we do take ourselves for granted, and we don't get ourselves any applause because we are waiting for approval from others. And this is another trap. So it's really important to celebrate ourselves without reason. This is really important practice that tells the subconscious we are worthy of love for simply existing. And when we are not afraid to be ourselves, this is when we can change the world around us. And it's really time to be fearless about who we are. When we no longer worry about rejection or approval from others, we feel confident in who we are. And we can redirect our energy from the mind into the heart, and from control to love, from fear to self-worth and self-esteem and self-confidence. And this is time to learn how to express ourselves from a place of love and gratitude instead of a place of judgment or neediness. And when we can express ourselves from the place of love, really, without need to be seen as something or someone, but just feeling really pure joy just by expressing ourselves, this is when everything changes. This is when our lives turn upside down. And this lunation is putting us there, and it's helping with every breath to us. It's helping us with our every breath to get there and to be the ray of the light from within, from inside out. And with this, I would end this forecast. And I wish us all a very radiant, expressive, joyful, present new moon in Leo that can take us on the journey and really be with us through all this time. Because this is an initiation for this Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years and even more. Because this is a completely different template of our consciousness. And we have to give our hand as well. We have to do something, and doing something now means being aware that we are alive, and that being alive is a miracle already. I love you all and see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.